So today is also the appearance day of Srila Gopal Bhatta Goswami, who is one of the six uh, Goswamis of Vrindavan. So we will read about Srila Gopal Bhatta Goswami also. Sri Gopal Bhatta Goswami, the son of Venkata Bhatta, a Sri Vaishnava Brahmin, appeared in Sri Rangam, South India. Lord Chaitanya once stayed 4 months in his home and converted the family to Gaudiya Vaishnavism. A mere boy at this time, Gopal personally served the Lord. Sri Chaitanya treated him affectionately, giving his remnants and blessings to become an acharya. During his 4 month stay, Lord Chaitanya developed a close friendship with Venkata Bhatta, which Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami describes as Sakhyaras. Freely conversing with each other, they would often laugh and joke together. One day, in a humorous mood, Lord Chaitanya asked Venkata, "Why does your worshipable goddess of fortune, Sri Lakshmi Devi, abandon the happiness of Vaikuntha and her service to her Lord Narayan? Why does she go to Vrindavan and perform severe austerities to attain the association of my Lord Gopal, the cowherd boy of Raja?" "I can't understand these mysteries," said Venkata, "but you, being the Supreme Personality of Godhead Himself, can surely enlighten me." "Lord Krishna has one unique quality," said Lord Gauranga. "He attracts the hearts of everyone with his personal conjugal love, Madhurya. Lord Narayan only has 60 transcendental qualities, but Sri Krishna has 64, and all of them are saturated with his unique quality of Madhurya, honey sweetness. The Supreme Personality of Godhead Sri Krishna attracts the mind of Lakshmi Devi, but Lord Narayan can never attract the minds of the Vraja gopis. In Vraja Leela, Krishna disguised as Lord Narayan once and appeared before the gopis who were searching for Krishna. Seeing Lord Narayan, the gopis said, "O Lord Narayan, pranams. Where did Krishna go? Did you see?" By following the gopis who spontaneously love Krishna without awareness of his godhood, one can attain Krishna. The Shrutis worshipped Krishna in the ecstasy of the gopis. Following in their footsteps, they received gopis' bodies to join Krishna in the rasa dance. Who? The Shrutis or the Vedas. The Vedas, following in the footsteps of the gopis, got the same ecstasy which the gopis experience. And eventually, these Vedas got bodies as gopis to join Krishna in the rasa dance. Lakshmi, however, wanted to enjoy Krishna but retain her spiritual form as Lakshmi Devi. Without following the gopis' footsteps, no one can attain Krishna. After receiving initiation from Sri Prabodhananda Saraswati, Gopal Bhatta came to Vrindavan, and he became a dear friend of Sri Rupa and Sanatan Goswamis. He did bhajan in Vrindavan for 45 years, mostly at Radha Kund. On pilgrimage, he obtained 12 Shaligram Shilas. Later, the Damodar Shila manifested himself as the beautiful Radha Raman deity. Since 1542, Radha Ramanji has been worshipped with pure devotion, following precise Shastric rituals. Lord Chaitanya ordered Gopal Bhatta to write a book to check the spread of pseudo loving rasas and negligence to Vaidhi Bhakti. In corroboration with Sri Sanatan Goswami, he compiled the Hari Bhakti Vilas, the authorized book explaining the ritual and devotional practices of the Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya. He also wrote Sat Kriya Sara Deepika and the outline for Srila Jiva Goswami's Shat Sandarbhas. He eternally serves Srimati Radharani as one of her Ashtamanjaris, Gunamanjari. So Gopal Bhatta Goswami is Gunamanjari. His samadhi is within Radha Ramanji's temple compound behind the appearance place of the deity. Sri Gopal Bhatta Goswami initiated Gopinath Pujari Goswami, a lifelong brahmachari who served Radha Ramanji for his whole life. Gopal Bhatta Goswami initiated Srinivas Acharya and many other stalwart Vaishnavas. So we just read about Ramchandra Kaviraj. Ramchandra Kaviraj is the disciple of Srinivas Acharya. Srinivas Acharya is the disciple of Gopal Bhatta Goswami. So now we'll also read the biography of Srila Gopal Bhatta Goswami. The all-merciful Lord Sri Gaurahari, as he traveled from village to village throughout the south of India, continued to distribute love of Godhead wherever he went. Hearing the nectarian names of Hari from his lotus mouth, thousands and thousands of men and women felt relief from the blazing fire of material existence. Various wretched, miserable, and fallen souls' lives were completely rejuvenated, and thus they became virtuous and happy, while causing rains of love of God to fall anywhere and everywhere without consideration of time or place. Sri Gaur Sundar came to the ancient holy place of Sri Rangakshetra on an island in the middle of the Kaveri river. The temple of Sri Rangakshetra was extremely large. The crest of the temple tower pierced the sky. Throughout the day and night, hundreds and thousands of pilgrims were going and coming to take darshan of Lord Ranganath. The temple halls resounded with the sounds of hundreds and thousands of Brahmins chanting Vedic hymns. In the midst of this scene from Vaikunta, entered Sri Gaur Sundar, chanting the names of Krishna in his sweet voice that defeated the voices of 10 million Gandharvas. Everyone in the temple became dumbstruck, amazed, and thrilled with wonder. What unprecedented beauty! His bodily effulgence makes molten gold appear to lack luster. From his eyes, which were like the full-blown petals of a lotus flower, trickled down tears of ecstatic love. Every limb, every part of his body was filled with such exquisite grace that even the mind of Cupid gets stolen away. The Brahmins began to consider, is this a demigod? Can such symptoms and emotions be found in human beings? Again, resounding the halls with the transcendental vibrations of Sri Hari's name, when he came before the deity and fell down as a tree is blown down by the wind, some people thought that a mountain of gold was rolling on the ground. Sri Venkata seeing this divine personage, became restless with ecstasy. His heart being flooded with devotion, he got up and began to move the crowds away so that the Lord could engage in chanting and dancing. When the Lord had regained his external consciousness after engaging in Sankirtan, Venkata approached him and took the dust of his lotus feet. Mahaprabhu gazed towards him, saying, Krishna, Krishna. He gazed towards him and saying, Krishna, Krishna, embraced him firmly. Sri Venkata Bhatta invited Mahaprabhu to come to his house, and having brought him there, very reverently washed his lotus feet, and along with other family members, he drank the water. Sri Bhattaji's house became filled with joy. Mahaprabhu came to Rangakshetra in the Christian year 1511. Okay, we are in 2024 now. So in 1511, Mahaprabhu came to Venkat Bhatta's home. Venkat Bhatta had two brothers, Tirumalla Bhatta and Prabodhananda Saraswati. Rimalla Bhatta and Prabodhananda Saraswati. They all belonged to the Ramanuja Sampradaya, and Prabodhananda Saraswati was a Tridandi sannyasi of that order. Venkata Bhatta had a son named Gopal, who was then just a child. When the boy came to offer his obeisances at the lotus feet of Mahaprabhu, Mahaprabhu picked him up and very affectionately seated him on his lap. Mahaprabhu would call Gopal after he had finished his meal and offer his remnants to the boy. In this way, he prepared him for the position of Acharya. After remaining at Venkata Bhatta's house during the 4 months of the rainy season, Chaturmasya, Mahaprabhu prepared to continue his journey of the South India, of the South. Venkata Bhatta's house began to ebb in a tide of tears in anticipation of his departure. Gopal, who was just a small boy, fell at his lotus feet in a dead faint. Therefore, Mahaprabhu remained for a couple of more days in order to console the boy. Being pleased with Gopal Bhatta Goswami's sincere service and devotion, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu initiated him and ordered him to move to Vrindavan after the disappearance of his parents and perform bhajan and write. He instructed him to serve his mother and father and always engage in chanting Krishna's glories and thereafter to come to Vrindavan. Very quickly, Gopal became expert in grammar, poetry, and rhetoric, and then began his study of Vedanta. His uncle Prabodhananda specifically began to instruct him from the devotional scriptures, Bhakti Shastras. Gopal Bhatta always remained thinking of the lotus feet of Mahaprabhu and when he might again be able to meet him. At the same time, however, he could not leave his aged mother and father. Finally, having reached their final days, they called their son Gopal and instructed him to go to the lotus feet of Mahaprabhu in Vrindavan. Then, while meditating on his lotus feet, they themselves went to join him in his eternal Leela. At the age of 30, Gopal Bhatta Goswami came to Vrindavan, and having missed Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, saddened him. I think there's a mistake. At the age of 30, Gopal Bhatta Goswami came to Vrindavan, having missed Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Acha, when he came to Vrindavan, he missed. Mahaprabhu had come and he had left. So having missed Mahaprabhu, he went to Vrindavan to meet Mahaprabhu, but he just missed Mahaprabhu. He was not there anymore. So having missed Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu saddened him. Thus Gopal set out for Vrindavan, and when he arrived there, Rupa Goswami immediately sent word to Mahaprabhu to inform him of Gopal's arrival there. Mahaprabhu had previously indicated to Rupa and Sanatan that Gopal Bhatt would one day come there to Vrindavan. So upon his arrival, they treated him with the same care and affection they would their own brother. They immediately became lifelong companions. However, the all-knowing Supreme Personality of Godhead, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, received word that Gopal Bhatta had come to Vrindavan. He was very pleased and sent with that messenger with the Lord's personal wooden sitting plank, which, so it's like hoki, it's called hoki. He sent with that messenger the Lord's personal wooden sitting plank, which he had used along with a pair of his undergarments and one of his upper cloths. So Mahaprabhu is sending his personal, things like the wooden plank on which he would sit, and a pair of his undergarments and one of his upper cloths, chadar. Having received these gifts, Gopal Bhatt was in ecstasy and he worshipped them as the prasad, tadiya of Mahaprabhu. When he would worship his deities, he would sit on that wooden plank. This piri or pidi, right? Pida, wooden seat, and Mahaprabhu's clothes are still being worshipped at Radha Raman Mandir. Gopal Bhatta, like Rup and Sanatan, had no fixed residence and would spend the night in various kunjas, forest groves. He spent his time studying the scriptures and composing various literatures. After Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's disappearance, Gopal Bhatta Goswami felt intense separation from the Lord. To relieve his devotee, the Lord instructed Gopal Bhatta in a dream, if you want my darshan, then make a trip to Nepal. In Nepal, Gopal Bhatta bathed in the famous Gandaki river, Kali Gandaki river. Upon dipping his water pot in the river, he was surprised to see several Shaligram Shilas enter his pot. He dropped the Shilas back into the river, but the Shilas re-entered his pot when he refilled it. After emptying and refilling his pot for the third time, Gopal Bhatta Goswami found 12 Shaligram Shilas sitting there. Thinking this must be the Lord's mercy, he kept all the Shilas and returned to Vrindavan. Sri Gopal Bhatta Goswami used to worship the 12 Shaligram Shilas. Wherever he would go, he would bring them with him in a piece of cloth tied at the corner. One day, a wealthy man, Seth, like Sethji, came to Vrindavan and offered Gopal Bhatta a variety of clothing and ornaments for his Shaligram Shilas. Being very impressed with the Goswami, he wanted his darshan and to render some service, which he presented in the form of some valuable cloths and ornaments. However, Gopal Bhatta could not use these for his round shaped shaligrams. So he advised the donor to give the deity decorations to someone else, right? I won't be able to use all these things which you are offering to my shaligrams because they cannot wear. So you give these to someone else. But the Seth insisted. Gopal Bhatta kept the cloths and ornaments with his shilas, while Gopal Bhatta Goswami was absorbed in remembering how the half man, half lion form of the Supreme Lord had manifested from the pillar in Hiranyakashipu's palace. He prayed in transcendental lamentation to the Lord, "O my Lord, you are very merciful and always fulfill the desires of your devotees. I wish to serve you in your form, having arms and legs and blissful smiling face with lotus eyes. If I had a deity, then I would be able to decorate him so nicely with these cloths and ornaments." So this was on Nishinga Chaturdasi day. In the evening, after offering some bhoga and arati to his Shaligram Shilas, Gopal Bhatta put them to rest, covering them with a wicker basket. Late in the night, Gopal Bhatta took a little rest and then in the early morning went to take bath in the Yamuna river. Returning from his bath, he uncovered the Shaligrams in order to render the puja for them and saw amongst them a deity of Krishna playing the flute. There were now 11 Shilas and this deity. The Damodar Shila had manifested as the beautiful threefold bending form of Tribhangananda Krishna. Floating in the ocean of ecstasy, he fell to the ground in order to offer his dandavats and then recited various prayers and hymns. This wonderful event of the appearance day of Radharaman happened on the day after Sri Narasimha Chaturdasi and is celebrated on that day accordingly. That day they offer 500 liters of milk for the Lord's pleasure and many other sweets and different things. The Radharaman temple has the highest standard of deity worship in all of Raja. When Rupa and Sanatan Goswamis, as well as many other devotees, received news of this miraculous event, they came running to see the Lord. Gazing on the Lord's transcendental form, which bewildered all the living entities of the many various planets, gazing on the Lord's transcendental form, which bewildered all the living entities of the many various planets, they all bathed him with their tears. This deity, whom the Goswamis named Sri Radharaman Dev, made his appearance on the full moon day of Vaishak in the year 1542. Except for Vrinda Devi, Sri Radharamanji is the only one of the original deities of Vrindavan who never left to go to Jaipur. Sri Radharaman ji is still being worshipped in Vrindavan near Nidhuvan Kunj in the compound of the temple. The deity is called Radharaman, although physically there is no apparent deity of Radha there. As one can see from the picture, that to the right of the picture, to Ramanji's left, is a place setting for Srimati Radhika. In this way, the pujaris worship Sri Radha and Ramanji together. Sri Radharaman Dev, unlike other deities, has very intricate features, including fingernails and even teeth. On the backside of his body, parts of the original Shaligram Shila from which he manifested himself can be seen. So if you see at the back of this deity, you'll be able to see part of the original Shaligram Shila from which this deity grew. There is a story that the small son of one of the Savites was playing with the deity once and put a small stick in one ear of the deity. and pushed it throughout the other ear. My God. The stick, however, had blood on it, and that boy died vomiting blood that very day. If you ever have the great good fortune to attend the Snan Yatra festival in Sri Vrindavan Dham, then it is a must that you should visit the Radharaman temple on this day. The temperatures are hot and dry in the 40 plus centigrade, and much anticipation of seeking out cooling water pervades the thoughts in Vrindavan's hot summer. At the temple, the merciful Ramanji has made a provision so that first he takes his transcendental bath right at the front of the altar for all to see, but then, after he has taken in his expanded kindness, the pujaris turn on the sprinkler system that surrounds the open courtyard. The fan in the middle is even equipped with pipes to pour out cooling water as it rotates at a high speed, inundating all the devotees taking the darshan of the Lord with great pleasure. In some discussion with the present day guardians of the temple and deity, they told that some scientists had come to examine the deity and propound their doubts that he was self manifested, as the devotees state. They examined the deity under the supervision of the devotees but could find no evidence of carving. Okay, okay, about Gopal Bhatta Goswami, let's read. About today's descendants. Once Srila Gopal Bhatta went to Haridwar. As he was returning, suddenly a downpour started, and thus he took shelter in the house of one Brahman. This Brahman was very devoted, and he very carefully began to serve Sri Gopal Bhatta, who thus became very pleased. As this Brahman had no children, Sripad Bhatta, Gopal Bhatta Goswami, blessed him that he might have a son who would be a devoted follower of Lord Hari. The Brahman replied out of gratitude that my first son I will send to you in order to serve you. Approximately 10 years later, when Gopal Bhatta returned from bathing in the Yamuna one day, he saw a young boy sitting at the door of his kutir. When the boy saw the Goswami ji approaching, he got up and then fell down to offer his dandavats, obeisances like a stick on the floor before him. Sripad Gopal Bhatta Goswami enquired who the boy was, to which he replied, my home was in Devandya Gram within Saharanpur near Hardwar. My father has sent me here to serve you. My name is Gopinath. Then Gopal Bhatta could remember the time when he went to Hardwar many years ago. So this boy remained with him and very carefully began to serve him. Eventually, he became known as Sri Gopinath Pujari Goswami as he served Sri Radha Raman Dev through his life as an unmarried brahmachari. His younger brother Sri Damodar Das, along with his family, accepted initiation from Sri Gopinath ji and also became engaged in the service of the deity. Sri Damodar Das's three sons were named Harinath, Mathuranath, and Hariram. It is from these family members of Gopinath's brothers that today's guardians, the Radha Raman Gosais, so nicely maintain and serve Sri Sri Radha Ramanji. Sri Gopal Bhatta's devotion was so special, his devotion so profound, that the Lord appeared for him in this special form. But not only that, as if in confirmation of the pastimes of the Lord and Mahaprabhu's being directly Radha Krishna, Sri Krishna Chaitanya Radha Krishna Nahe Anya, in his worship of Sri Radha Raman, would sometimes see that he had taken the form of Sri Gaur Sundar, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That means Gopal Bhatta Goswami, while he was worshipping Radharaman, he would see that his Radharaman has turned to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Becoming subservient to the love of Sri Gopal Bhatta, Sri Radharaman would sometimes accept the form of Sri Gaur Sundar. Sri Gopal Bhatta was the initiating guru of Srinivas Acharya Prabhu. Sripad Gopal Bhatta Goswami was very learned, trained in Pancharatra, coming in the learned family of Venkata Bhatta in the Sri Vaishnav line. He wrote many books including Sat Sandarbha Karika, Shat Sandarbha Karika, Shri Krishna Vallabha, Krishna Karanamrita, Sat Kriya Sara Deepika, a brilliant work on Vaishnava Samskara Vidhi, and Laghu Hari Bhakti Vilas with Digdarshini Tika. From this work, Sri Sanatan Goswami compiled the Hari Bhakti Vilas, now followed by all Gaudiya Vaishnavas. It is said, out of affection for Srila Gopal Bhatta Goswami, Srila Sanatan Goswami compiled the famous Vaishnava Smriti titled Hari Bhakti Vilas and published it under Gopal Bhatta Goswami's name. Gopal Bhatta Goswami resided for 45 years in Sridham Vrindavan, but out of great humility he requested Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj not to mention his name in the classic work Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. Gopal Bhatta Goswami serves as Gunamanjari. In the Gaura Ganodesha Deepika too, it is mentioned that in the eternal pastimes of Radha and Krishna, Gopal Bhatta Goswami's name is in Vrajalila has been given as Gunamanjari. His birth was on the day of the dark fortnight of the month Pausha in the year 1503, which is today. Today is the appearance day. His disappearance was on the 6th day of the dark fortnight of the month of Shravan in the year 1578. He was 75 years old when he disappeared. Okay, there is more biographies, but I think we are running out of time. Yeah. Okay, let's read. She who was formerly Ananga Manjari has appeared to enrich Mahaprabhu's pastimes as Srila Gopal Bhatta Goswami. Some say that Gopal Bhatta is actually Gunamanjari. Srila Gopal Bhatta Goswami appeared in 1500 AD, though according to some authorities he was born in 1503 as the son of Venkat Bhatta in the town of Srirangam in South India. Their residence was in a village not far from Srirangam called Belagundi. According to Narahari in the Bhakti Ratnakar, Srila Gopal Bhatta Goswami was given a vision in a dream by Mahaprabhu, in which he was fortunate enough to witness all the Lord's Navadvip pastimes. An eternal associate of Krishna, he appeared in a faraway place in order to participate in Lord Gauranga's pastimes. Even so, he was able to know long before he even saw him that the Lord had appeared and taken sannyas. Gopal Bhatta did not particularly like the Lord's appearance as a sannyasi. He was distressed and crying alone when the Lord appeared to him and gave him the dream vision of his Navadvip Leela. In this vision, the Lord was overwhelmed by ecstatic love, embraced him, and drenched him in his tears. Having said this to Gopal, the Lord embraced him and drenched him in his tears. He then told him to keep all these experiences a secret. And Gopal felt great joy in his mind. So this is given in Bhakti Ratnakar. Through the power of Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's merciful association, Venkat Bhatta, his brother Prabodhananda Saraswati, his son Gopal Bhatta Goswami, and all the other members of his family were inspired to give up the worship of Lakshmi Narayan and became engaged in the exclusive devotional service of Radha and Krishna. Srila Gopal Bhatta Goswami took initiation from his uncle Tridandi Yati Srimad Prabodhananda Saraswati. Proof of this is found in the Hari Bhakti Vilas. Gopal Bhatta, the disciple of Prabodhananda, who is dear to the Lord, has collected these devotional activities to satisfy Raghunath Das, Rupa, and Sanatan Goswamis. So this is a quote from Hari Bhakti Vilas to show that Gopal Bhatta Goswami had taken initiation from Prabodhananda Saraswati. Gopal's parents were very fortunate, for they surrendered themselves, life and soul, to the feet of Lord Chaitanya. They ordered their son to go to Vrindavan before they left this world, absorbing in meditating on the Lord. Gopal traveled directly to Vrindavan, where he met with Rupa and Sanatan. Gopal Bhatta comes to Vrindavan. When Gopal arrived in Vrindavan, Rupa and Sanatan wrote to Mahaprabhu to tell him. The Lord was overjoyed and immediately wrote back, telling them to affectionately take care of him as though he were their own younger brother. Srila Sanatan Goswami compiled the Hari Bhakti Vilas and published it in Srila Gopal Bhatta Goswami's name. Rupa Goswami considered Gopal Bhatta to be as dear to him as his own life and engaged him in the deity worship of Radharaman. Srila Gopal Bhatta Goswami became one of the six Goswamis, but he always kept an attitude of meekness and humility. Thus, when Krishnadas Kaviraj approached him for permission to write the Chaitanya Charitamrita, he granted it, but under the condition that he not write about him. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami could not go against the order of Gopal Bhatta and thus did nothing more than mention his name. Sri Jiva Goswami writes in the introduction to the Shat Sandarbha that he wrote it on the basis of an earlier text by Gopal Bhatta. Srila Gopal Bhatta Goswami also wrote a book called the Shat Kriya Sara Deepika, Light on the Essential Sacraments for the Vaishnavas. Thus, his contribution to Gaudiya Vaishnava literature was in editing the Hari Bhakti Vilas, preparing the notes for Jiva's Shat Sandarbha, and in compiling the Shat Kriya Sara Deepika. He also gave great joy to the community of devotees by writing a commentary on Bilvamangal's Krishna Karnamrita. Amongst his disciples were Srinivas Acharya and Sri Gopinath Pujari. It is said that Mahaprabhu had such affection for Gopal Bhatta that he sent him his own belt and kaupin as well as a wooden seat which he had used. These items are still worshipped in the Radha Raman temple by the current Sevites. Then there is the story of Sri Radha Raman, which we read already. Okay, it's not said in detail, so we'll just read it. Sri Sri Radharaman. When Srila Gopal Bhatta Goswami was visiting the pilgrimage centers of northern India, he found a Shaligram Shila on the banks of the Gandaki river. He took the worshipable stone and carried it with him wherever he went, treating it as Vrajendra Nandan Krishna himself. One day he thought that he would like to worship the Lord in a deity form so that he could expand his service. On the very next day, he found that the Shaligram Shila had transformed itself into Radharaman to fulfill the wish of his devotee. This deity stands alone without any form of Radha standing by his side. Instead, as a symbol of Radharani, a silver crown is placed on his left side. The story is also told in the following way. It is said that Srila Gopal Bhatta Goswami used to daily worship 12 shaligrams. He developed a desire to serve the Lord in the form of a deity, thinking that in this way he would be able to worship him in a much better way. The Lord within his heart knew his feelings, and through a rich merchant had many beautiful items used in the worship of the deity, such as ornaments and clothes, sent to him. Gopal began to worry that all these beautiful objects would be wasted because there was no way that he could use them unless he had a deity in human form. That night he put the shaligrams to rest, and in the morning he saw that one of them had been transformed into the Radharaman deity. When Rup and Sanatan heard that Krishna had so mercifully appeared to Gopal Bhatta, they immediately came with the other devotees for darshan, and when they saw him, they were ecstatic with love. The annual festival commemorating Radharaman's appearance, when he is bathed publicly, takes place on the full moon day of Vaishak. The Radharaman temple is considered one of the most important in Vrindavan. Srila Gopal Bhatta Goswami ended his earthly pastimes on the Krishna Panchami of Ashad of 1507 of the Shaka era 1585 AD. His Samadhi temple is behind the current Radharaman temple. By reading Srinivas Acharya's hymn to the six Goswamis, Shad Goswami Ashtakam, we can understand their glories. Srila Gopal Bhatta Goswami ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. Thank you.